symbol, a number type. We can define like this. That means it can have a collection of all string, or it can have a collection of all number. So that means at different situations in the same application, one collection can work for numbers, another for string type values. That is how we can define union of types, right? So that we can create a collection in such a way that it is strongly typed, but according to the situation, it can change the types. That is union of type. These are the various methods of declaring array. But I told you that declaring array is not enough to store value into array. Array is declared, but memory is not initialized. We have to initialize memory for array. Then only we can store value into array. Declaring array is not enough. So now you declared array. So what you have to note is array must be initialized with memory. Array must be initialized with memory in order to store values. Array must be initialized with memory in order to store values. Now, how we can initialize memory for array? Initialize memory for array. How we can initialize memory for array? And as I showed you yesterday, without initializing memory for array, we cannot store values into that array. So here we declared array. It is a string type, but we cannot store values into that array. In order to store values into array, we need to initialize memory. And how memory is initialized? So there are two methods. Memory for an array can be initialized by using, it can be initialized by using meta character square brace. Meta character square brace. So, or constructor array. We can use the meta character or we can use the constructor. So there are two ways for initialize memory. Memory for an array must be initialized. Without that, you cannot store value. How you can initialize the memory? So using meta character, either you use square brace or constructor. That means how we can initialize memory for it. Initializing memory, you can directly define. Here declared. So we have to initialize the memory for this. I'm writing like this. Values is equal to square brace like this. I'm initializing like this. Actually, this is not initializing. So initializing means while declaring. Here actually we are assigning memory for that. So now in that values of 0 is equal to 10. Now when I do like this, you can see this shows a problem. Problem say is not assignable. Okay, this is string type required. I will add a string. Now it is okay. So another values, that means it is not allowing any another type of value. Okay, then B, then it is defined. Fine. Now console.log, I want to print values of 0. That means the index number. I will tell you that also how to deal with those values, how to read them and use them. We will discuss about that. So, okay. So here I will open this and compile. So tsc array demo.ts node array demo.js, and you can see it is accessing that value. So you can initialize memory. Here, memory for an array can be initialized, right? And important is you can also use assigning technique for allocating memory. You can also use assigning technique for allocating memory. What is initializing technique? What is assigning technique? Initializing already we learned. Initializing means what? So let variable name and colon the data type and is equal to, this is how you can initialize. Let variable name and colon, it is a string type, is equal to new array. That's how we can initialize. Sorry, array is a construct like this. You can initialize. Actually, so what is this new? Later in operators, I will tell you. Actually, new is in this here. New is it is dynamic memory allocating operator. It is not a keyword. Technically speaking, new is not a keyword. Generally, few people call new as a keyword. So technically, new is not a keyword. New is an operator. In any programming language, new is actually an operator. It is an operator that allocates memory dynamically. We call it as dynamic memory allocating operator. Dynamic memory allocating operator. So it is allocating memory. It is allocating memory dynamically. So of array type means to handle many type of values. So we can initialize memory for array in this way by using meta character or by using array constructor. Or you can also use assigning technique. That means let. So assigning technique means, so the syntax will be like this: let variable name and the string you declared. After that, variable name is equal to this. Or you can define in another way. That is let variable name and it is a string type, and where variable name is equal to new array. We can use anyone. We can use any technique. That is how we can configure. So memory need to be initialized or memory need to be allocated. So important, without assigning the memory, without initializing the memory, we cannot store the value. We cannot store the value without initializing the memory. We cannot store the value, right? Now, important here is how